Things are getting serious. People are getting scared. Women and children are worried about walking on the streets freely in Britain. The safety of women and children on British streets is what Citizen First actually looks like in real life. That is what is being sacrificed. The recent attack in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and the attack on Henry Novak have once again brought illegal migration to the forefront in British politics. Britain is at a boiling point. The government needs to take their heads out of the sand, open their eyes and look. They need to stop shouting at us and listen. Wake up and smell the coffee. It has no milk, no sugar or honey, just a bitter taste. Welcome back to Politics and Principles, where we do not just discuss politics, but the underlying principles that should be guiding political policies, decisions and action. Today, we are addressing principled priorities, citizen first priorities, and how this understanding should be shaping the way forward for addressing the impact of the poorly managed illegal migration crisis in this nation. Let's get into the details.
We all condemn, of course, the appalling violence in Belfast last night after the horrific attack on Monday. But this Prime Minister is in denial of the rising despair across the country over his failure to stop the boats and related criminality, his failure to recognise two-tier policing, his failures over Mandelson, his failures over the scourge of anti-Semitism. He's lost the confidence of the country, his own trade union members and his own very quiet backbenchers, Mr. Speaker. When will he do the right thing and when will this Prime Minister resign?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, last week we had the terrible case of Henry Novak, which they sought to exploit. Now we have a very difficult situation in Northern Ireland where families and communities are extremely frightened. What do? They try to whip up fear and division because that's all they've got. And he talks about stopping the boats. Mr. Speaker, when we passed legislation to help stop the boats, what did they do? They voted against it. And to take those measures, you need money.
Starmer did as usual. Instead of proposing a way of dealing with the problem, he finds an excuse. Excuses do not lead a nation. Decisiveness does. And how can leaders be decisive if they do not have principled priorities guiding their decisions? Keir Starmer and most of the politicians in Parliament are so out of touch with the British public. They do not understand the anger that people are feeling inside. They do not understand the gravity of the problems they have created. Those problems that brought people to this level of anger. They may know, but they will never acknowledge it. They have too much pride to admit it. Either their priorities are not known to them, or their priorities have not been stated clearly to the public. Regardless of what it is, the degree of justifiable response by the people is because there are no obvious principled priorities by which the Labour Party is being governed, nor by which they are governing this nation. I say this not as a partisan statement. I say it as a common sense observation from someone whose eyes are wide open to the felt needs and pleas of the people. Over and over for decades, people have been crying out and begging the government to stop the illegal migration. Stop the boats. Politicians, year after year, say they are going to stop the boats, stop the gangs. But are they really? Look at the evidence. They have not stopped the boats. They have not stopped the gangs. They have not stopped anything. Everything that they have done, including millions sent to France to stop the boats, has only increased the boats. And the escorting of those boats into British waters by the same French authorities we have been paying British taxpayer money to. This makes no sense, but it continues to be justified by those in leadership positions with misplaced priorities. The government is now telling us that migration is down 80%. Any government can choose to tell the truth and do something about illegal migration like President Trump did, while on the other hand, any government can make up statistics to support their claims. So, are their claims true, or are they gaslighting the British people? How can illegal migration be going down when what we see with our eyes is completely the opposite? Over 1,000 illegal migrants per week coming across the channel. Anyone in power can cook the books. Statistics means nothing to us when what we are seeing and living is right before our eyes. A leader with citizen first priorities looks at the lived experiences of the people over statistics or what the numbers are saying. Starmer says that he needs money to solve the migration crisis. They are able to find billions for Ukraine, millions for Mauritius, to give them land that is ours to rent it back. They can find millions to put up illegals in hotels and HMOs. But they cannot find money to stop the influx of illegal migrants. And that is citizen first failure. What does it tell you? Their priorities are either wrong or they do not care about the British people. Either way, they have chosen everything and everyone above the citizens they were elected to serve. It is either they know what they are doing or they do not know what they are doing. But whatever they are doing is an existential threat to the British society. Starmer says he needs money. He does not. All this country needs is a leader and a government that is willing and capable of solving the crisis. This is not a priority that can be traded off for something. This is a priority that requires a principled response, one that is going to take courage to act on. And sadly, courage is not an attribute we see clearly from Starmer when he gets up to address the nation or parliament. So what would a leader with citizen-first priorities actually do? The number one thing that needs to be done in order to solve this crisis is to leave the ECHR. This will give us better leverage to stop the boats, deport all illegals in the country, and ensure that everything that is attractive to them about coming to Britain stops. That would allow us to strip away the law that is like a chain around our necks, forcing us to take care of illegals over our own citizens. Sadly, Keir Starmer will never do that, because if the illegal migration stop, his international lawyer friends who depend on the influx to keep their wealth coming would not be happy. If they are not happy, he gets no post-Prime Minister job security. And there you have it. Get your act together before the people get angrier and things get worse. You know the right things to do. The game is up. Stop playing around. Britain is at a breaking point. You politicians have brought this upon us. Now fix it before it's too late. Until British politicians stop burying their heads in the sand, open their eyes and see, open their ears and listen to the voices of the people and the impact of their decisions, and do something about the problems, Britain will continue down this slippery economic and cultural slope where it will be impossible to recover. The clear leadership principle here is priorities. Real leaders put citizen first priorities at the center of every decision. They put the safety and welfare of the British people above foreign aid, above international deals, and above comfort for those who break the laws. When politicians get their priorities straight, Britain gets its future back. When you have clear principled priorities governing how you lead, there will be no need for excuses, because we are clear on the direction you are taking the nation. And that direction is leading to a vision that makes the priorities to be adhered to obvious. It is time for every one of us to support and back only leaders who live by citizen-first priorities in action, not just words. Choose them, support them, and hold everyone else to account until this principle guides our country again. Thanks for watching. You can watch our next video coming up on the screen.